Action games come in many forms and visages. They all got their own way to how they're handled, and I can say I have respect for how the genre started way back before even I existed. But to me, the action game genre is, as a whole, in my eyes personally, dwarfed by one of its many subgenres. In my opinion, it is the peak of the genre: stylish action. Stylish action, in the form that it is today, was popularized by Devil May Cry, much like how first-person shooters in the form that they are today were popularized by Doom, but overall properly invented by Wolfenstein back in the 80s. But I want to touch upon the proper origin of it before we go into talking about Devil May Cry, and that is a game on the PlayStation 1 known as Rising Zan: Samurai Gunman. Rising Zan used command inputs and special techniques to vary up the flow of combat. This was in my research, however, since I have not played the game properly yet, but I was able to gather some footage online thanks to these sources seen on screen. But just looking at it, I can see the basis for the subgenre as a whole for what we have now. But as I said, Devil May Cry solidified the idea of how it could be and what the genre can build from. The usage of a grading rubric, varied amount of options for the player to use, and enemy variety, and of course, letting the player discover how they go about anything really within the realms of combat. The subgenre's framework was created, then allowed for what would be the peak of the genre in my eyes, yet still being relatively niche. Weird, right? I want to touch upon my personal favorite for a little bit before I move on to what I believe are the right steps in the direction for the genre, as made by others. So,
let's rock, baby.
Growing up with Devil May Cry 3, I can say it was the catalyst to wanting to understand how to do more with a combat system in a video game. It created this bug in my system where I really wanted to just be good at that kind of game. But, granted, I was like 20 years younger, so my patience threshold was way lower alongside my dexterity. Things were different back then. But I still didn't have the same mindset that I do now of pushing myself further as I would as an adult. In stylish action play, I just wanted to hit buttons and make things look cool. My idea of cool back then was a triple triangle into high time into prop shredder, and I thought that was the coolest shit ever. But even then, it still made stylish action just enticing. I got my hands on a lot of similar games from that time up until now. Just many different ones that tried to scratch that itch, from the Greek God of War games to a Ghost Rider stylish action game to even a Nightmare Before Christmas one. No, I'm not joking about that last one. This shit was real and it was cool as fuck, and it was made by Capcom. Like, you took my favorite developer of all time at that time and fused it with my favorite movie of all time. You had it. It was just that good. But rolling back around to Devil May Cry, I went into one of, if not the most intense character-based systems in a stylish action game, hell, in the stylish action genre as a whole. And that's thanks to a glitch, much like how wave dashing was a glitch in Super Smash Bros. Melee. And I say thanks to a glitch because, as most who are into stylish action games know, inertia in Devil May Cry 4 was not entirely planned. It was a glitch in the system that allowed for intense mobility and insane combat flow, all dependent on the player's execution level, which is what I like to see. I spent a metric shit ton of time in DMC4 getting my PhD, aka plenty of hours on Dante. I put so much time into it that when I would watch combo videos online, I wanted to just practice things like guard flying just because it looked cool. Granted, that was many years ago, and I can no longer do that on command. Like, that's completely out of my system now because of how long ago it was, but it was still a core memory. It's still something that sticks with me. The ebb and flow of Devil May Cry 4 is a key factor because it leads into my favorite stylish action game of all time. I thought it was DMC 3 or 4. No, those are like my favorites within the Devil May Cry franchise. But if we're talking about my favorite stylish action game of all time, it is one made by someone who worked on Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. This game means so much to me, and I'm so glad I played it. This is Assault Spy. This game is more than just an indie stylish action game that kind of resembles the game mentioned beforehand, or, vaguely borrows from its progenitor. It uses the ideas but stands firmly as a game of legend. It stands to say that, yes, I will be talking highly of this game. I'll go into greater depth in an actual review, but for now, let's just focus on the key aspect and the reason I brought up this game, and that is the gameplay. Assault Spy has the perfect ideas melded into a system that respects player skill without relinquishing challenge from them, or overwhelming them with enemies that share overlapping AI function that creates disorderly and messy combat scenarios, admittedly. Assault Spy feels like each interaction within gameplay is reactionary and passive simultaneously. Each of the Negabot robots has different interactions and approaches to them that allow for you, the player, to make the decision of how you approach the combat encounter. Where linearity is the first timer's option, while with subsequent playthroughs or runs of Death March, aka this game's version of Bloody Palace, you start to see the ways where you can get your action started. The game is almost based around a phrase I see myself saying about other action games, and that is, show me your action. Where the game encourages the open thoughts of how the player goes about touching upon the combat and what they can do with both Asaru and Emilia, individually or together with the game's tag mode systems. Acquired after, of course, obviously completing both campaigns. Have all that power out the gate. They gotta let you earn it first. You're granted access to this game's greatest systems and opportunities to run wild with to your heart's content. There really isn't anything like Assault Spy's combat philosophies out there. While yes, there are insanely high fidelity, phenomenal stylish action games made by other individuals, there is nothing out there that really embodies the idea of show me your action like this. Mind you, this is me just waxing poetic and reading too deep into system mechanics in a video game. While it isn't that deep to everyone else, and it may not be the same to the developer WazNK, this is what it feels like to me, and I feel like the feelings of the individual are what's important to the game experience. It doesn't overwrite dev intention at all, no, it does not. But it does help paint a picture from the player perspective. And with my perspective does come the awareness that the game is not literally perfect. It has some bugs, it has some jank to it, but like I said, in relation to Super Smash Bros. Melee, those things are what add to the experience. Where it is unintentional to have a scenario that enhances the experience, it creates action game singularity where you suddenly understand how to use these things that are seen as expletives in the code to craft combat interactions and extensions of your abilities and executional prowess to show your action. It's inspirational to me, but it also does leave me a little envious as I can't create something akin to this game that I love so fucking much. Like, oh my god, I love this game so much. I will just keep playing it forever, and maybe one day with the little bit of knowledge I have of poking around in Unreal Engine 4, I can create something that'll make someone feel this way about the game that I feel about it. Like, I want to make something that makes somebody feel this way on like a raw mechanical level. I will clear it before the next section. The envy doesn't make me mad at the dev, it more so makes me mad at myself that I'm not as good at creating something as they are. Like, this is so fucking good, it's so kick-ass and inspiring, but I can't make that, and it makes me mad. But hey, Wazen had to have started somewhere. Didn't just wake up one day and was blessed with the ability to be an incredible game dev. No, that's not how it works at all. So yeah, it took a while. They got there, and to that I say, I bow my head to WazNK, the maker of a legend and maker of yet another legendary game in question known as Might Rhea. We'll talk about that another time. But that does lead to the question, what about other stylish action games in the scene? What about them?
What happened next? Nothing, really. We took care
There are many others made by people, some you may know and some you may not, like Ultra Kill, a boomer shooter type feel inspired by Devil May Cry, but also containing echoes of Doom mixed in with some of the craziest yet intriguing lore I've ever seen. Like, this lore is fucking amazing. It took me some while to really get a hold of it, and I have a brain tick for grasping at Hakita's Wild Ride. I'm not gonna lie, that shit caught me bad now, and I kind of play it a lot every day now. I always had respect for him and his work, but the game didn't click with me until recently, and now I'm all in. And I can honestly say I'm glad I am. I wanted to love Ultra Kill, and now I do. It just took some time. I always had respect for him and his work, but like, I really gotta think, what about it didn't click with me before? Who knows? But to that I say, thank you, Hakita. You made something fucking amazing. And from ducking and diving and parrying bullets with my bare fucking hands out of the air, let's talk about something I've been wanting to sink my teeth into properly, and that's Xenokids. This game has a lot of things I've looked for ever since I first played Assault Spy. From character switching to free-flowing combat to wide and varied movesets, this game is my textbook definition of yet another legend in the making. It does make me wonder if I can get my voice in the game and somehow just narrate character guides for people who want to learn how to get better at the game. Nah, I'm good. Never mind. If they ever reach out to me, I'll take that position, but for now, I'll just do what I do best and sing its praises and play until my controller turns into dust. Turning my controller into dust, on that topic, I could not forget the rising legend that is King Static, dubbed by another I must dub my goat, Spookto. This blend of stylish action and roguelite awakened that urge to never let the game go, and honestly, I don't see myself not playing this game anytime soon. Long after launch and long after the final update, I will be always making sure that Static is king. And what this game lets me do and what my mind can see being done, it's fucking fantastic, man. I love King Static. This shit is gonna be incredible. Mind you, the games here I just listed are a small fraction of stylish action games being made by talented individuals and teams. There are many others out there waiting for someone to crack them open and get to understanding and sharing the bevy of technical and executional wonders of those games and what they have. So go on, and get out there. Show me your action. And as for that, this has been Wandering Sosuke. Like and subscribe for more yap sessions like this, as always. Want y'all to have yourselves a damn good one and stay gold. Jana.